What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. The name is Behrlythere. We're going to do another little guide / tutorial video. This time, not on a backstabber. If you've been paying attention to anything I've been doing on Twitch lately, I have been playing my Lockpicker a lot, and I've got a lot of questions on the build, the setup, scripts, settings, aspects, all the different questions on it. So I figured I'd do a quick little beginner lockpicker guide, just to kind of give those who want to venture into lockpicking a little bit of an idea of at least the build that I run and how I play it. Some tips and tricks to be successful on the way. So like most of my videos, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask that you like and subscribe on the YouTube video, and then also, if you wouldn't mind, I predominantly stream over on Twitch by the same name, twitch.tv /Behrlythere. If you have any questions over the video, you can find me over there on Twitch, or you can just leave something down in the comments down below, and we will do our best to get back to you and answer those questions in a timely manner. But for the first things first. First thing I always like to do is go over my build a little bit, just so you have an idea of like what I'm running. Don't worry, I have these groups set up because this guy has a couple different echoes. First thing I like to run is 110 camping. I like to be able to carry a lot of gold out of a dungeon with 110 camping and a strength pot and 2 strong box deeds. If I'm carrying just gold, I carry out around 59k in one run, if it's just gold and really nothing else. I run 120 detect hidden. I'll get into why that's important later. 100 hiding, 100 stealth, 110 lockpicking. I will tell you why I also went 110 lockpicking, or why my build is at 110 lockpicking. Magery, as you can tell, I'm bringing my Magery up to 100 right now. I've just been lazy and haven't got it done yet, and my meditation is at it will be at 80. So back to the detect hidden. Detect hidden is what allows you to they replace remove trap with detect hidden. Remove trap is what allows you to, or detect hidden is what allows you to remove trap off of chests in a dungeon. So it is imperative that if you are especially a new lockpicker, that you get your detect hidden to 120, because this will reduce the chance that you can set off that trap in that chest and ultimately blow yourself up, catch yourself on fire, get a disease, get a poison, whatever the trap may be. 120. I always run 120, even at this point in my character's progression, I still run 120. And then lockpicking, I run 110 for the same reason, but it's not as important, right? Higher lockpicking yields a higher chance to be able to actually pick the chest itself. So I run 110 just to give myself a little bit of a bump. But you can get away with 100 and just use higher level lockpicking tools. Same thing with detect hidden or remove trap. The higher the level of tool, the higher the chance to remove that trap. So if you're using just regular, as you can see here, my little tinker bench here, if you're using just regular exceptional iron lockpicks, then you're going to have a higher chance of setting off that trap. But if you use Averite lockpicks, then it's going to give you a much higher success chance than, you know, your regular iron ones. So that's why I suggest using higher, when you first start off, higher level lockpicks and remove trap tools, and then as your skill goes up, or your aspect goes up, which I will go over my aspect here in a moment. As your aspect goes up, you know, you will, especially if you're running harvest, you will gain effective skill on harvesting your chests. So right now I have an effective 15 points added to my lockpicking. So I'm at like a 125 lockpicking on. So I do run harvest. I'm currently at tier 12 harvest. If anybody wants to donate harvest cores for the creation of this video, please do. Feel free. They are very expensive, and I could use it. But I've been stuck at tier 12 for quite a while now. But harvest, there's two trains of thought on it. You can either run harvest or you can run fortune. I run harvest because it does give me effective skill on harvesting and chests. So this character also has an echo for lumberjacking and mining, so it gives me higher chance to get colored ore, but it also gives me a higher chance to pick those chests. It also has a chance at 2 times yield and loot for harvesting or chests. So 30% of the time I will double proc on a chest. So if the chest had 5,000 gold in it, I'm gonna get 10,000 gold, and I'm gonna double up on unidentified items, cores, scrolls, extracts, whatever it is. The only things it doesn't really double up on is like maps and stuff like that. But you will get double rare cloth and other items like that. And then also it has this little damage resist for 60 seconds. So whenever I'm stealth and I pick a chest, I have about a 17.5% chance to gain an increased damage resistance. I have so I have a damage resistance for 60 seconds basically, which is kind of nice when I pick a chest and then I pop it, which I'll do a run through of a dungeon really quick just to show you how I do it. But it gives you a little bit of a damage resist, which is kind of nice when you're trying to get out of some squirrely areas. Next thing I'll do is, since I've gone over the skills and I've kind of gone over my aspect and here, let me go over fortune. Oh, wrong way. Fortune does give you increased gold and loot item chance bonus. So the higher level tiers, you get an increased chance of getting better items. And then look, my neighbor's down here. Hello, neighbor. It also gives you for PDM, it gives you a chance for 50% damage increase and a global experience bonus. So a lot of people will run fortune, and they'll run fortune on their armor, and they'll run a different aspect on their book or their weapon, and they will get increased experience gain for those other aspects as well. So it's not bad, but I supplement the gold and loot by just using special and rare loot chance links. That's what I run in my build. So I kind of make up for the lack of that in my chain on the harvest build. So that's why I do that. Some options, going into the options, if you're making a new lockpicker, some things that I run just to make my life a little bit easier. We'll start off with some macros. Obviously, I have a bunch of them. If you're like I do and you love looting dead bodies, I suggest having a prevent criminal looting macro made and pull it off on your bar over here. That way, if I see a dead body, I can double click it, I can loot that body, I'm gray, and then I can move on about my life. And then I turn it back off so I don't accidentally loot another body and continue to stay gray. And then I also suggest, your all guard and your all kill. Every now and then I'll have a summon up, and I'll have them there to kind of protect myself when I'm picking a chest, especially those level 7s and level 8s in dungeon or the boss rooms. And then I also use this one to break my stealth, and you'll see what I mean when I go and do the dungeon run after I'm done going through everything. I like to use this to get myself out of stealth quickly. All these settings that are here, these are all generic settings. Obviously the first one you want to make sure you have is always run unless hidden. You want to have that checked off. That way, if you don't have these, then you try to run, then you're going to break your stealth, which is going to be counters. You can do whatever you want with these. The main one that's really important is somebody actually showed this to me when I was live the other day. You want to go to experimental. You want to go to disable. You want to disable default UO hotkeys, and then you want to disable the right and left click auto move. Because I've found it when I'm running through a dungeon and I'm trying to do something and I accidentally click both of my mouse keys at the same time, my character then starts auto moving. So when I run up to a chest and I hit my hide key and then I continue to move, it breaks that hide, and then I have to run around and cast invis on myself and all kinds of other crazy stuff. So definitely suggest these two settings right here. If you've ever experienced that, then you know what I'm talking about, and this is the way to turn that off and make it much easier. Cooldowns, I have a stealth cooldown. If you haven't seen my backstab videos, then here's one for the Lockpicker. It's the same thing. I have a simple stealth cooldown, which you can see right here. Let me change the bar to such a see. You can do it. This and then drag this back out. All right, so now it's a little bit easier for you to see stealth. All that allows me to do is, let me get off my mount, is when I hide, it would be good if I put on the right setting here. Okay, so when I hide, it'll set the cooldown off. You can see it's going to count down from 10 seconds. That's because it's a 10-second cooldown before you can automatically stealth. The character will automatically stealth. See, you feel comfortable enough to begin stealthing. And then when I take my first step, it resets my cooldown. That lets me know, one, when to stop moving. If I run out of steps before this cooldown's off, then I have to stop moving. But it also allows me to know when I can automatically re-hide again, which is if you're the kind of person who just stealths through a dungeon and you popped out of stealth for some reason. If that cooldown's off, then you can automatically re-hide, which is important. Nameplates. I suggest making a nameplate similar to this. If you can tell here, I have one that's set up for my picker, and then I have one that has just nothing. It's just clear. And I set up hotkeys for this. Obviously, my picker it's set to F4. So if I hit F4, I can see all the items, and if I hit F5, it gets rid of all the nameplates off of everything on the screen. Makes it easier. But the reason why I had this set up with just containers and gold, humanoids, monsters, and players, and then I have these is because all I really care about in the dungeon is the chests. So I want to know where the chests are, and I want to know where the monsters are in the dungeons, so I can either avoid them or if there's a player, I can see the players as well. So yeah, that's just the way I set up my nameplates for my lockpick. I think that's really all the crazy ones. I mean, you can do all kinds of other crazy stuff, like double click the loot and change your scales and stuff around to see things a little. The big one really was the one in the experimental, the disable UO hotkeys and disable that right left click auto move, because that is a really annoying thing to do. Obviously. And then in Razor, let's see what kind of macros I like to use. Don't judge my naming of everything. Macros, no, it's a script. So one of them that's really big is the rope telly script. If you don't have this rope teleport script that is offered, I think it's on JSON's website. This one was made by Legenis, so shout out to Legenis. I use his rope telly script, and then I also use a couple other ones for lock picking in the dungeon. Which, if you want those, you're gonna have to come find me. I might give them to you, but those are mine. You want those? Then leave a comment down there and join my Discord or whatever. I'm gonna hold you hostage. If you want to get good at it, then come find me. I'm just kidding. They're literally on JSON's website. Once again, they're literally on JSON's website. One of them that I like to use is, let me see if I can find it. Terrible at this. Oh, here it is. I actually put them all right here. Dungeon lockpicking, and then open chest or T-map by JSONs. The chest scan one, though, that one's not made. This one right here, the chest scan one, that is not on JSON's website. That is a custom one, as far as I'm tracking. So I got the dungeon lockpicking one, and but I predominantly use the open chest or T-map by JSON's script. That's everybody who asks me, how do you loot chests? Right there. That's how I do it. JSON's already did it. He already gave us the tools that we need. So that is my skills. That is my hotkeys. That's my cooldowns. That's the build. I think at this point, and then you can see like, boom, I broke stealth there. I think at this point I can just give you a quick rundown of how I run through a dungeon really quick. And then I'll try to narrate it as best as possible. Make sure my aspect is good. I'm leveling up Eldritch right now, so we're going to leave that. One thing you want to always do is just make sure that you... oh, here's a good tip. I don't need these. Why are these in my bag? One thing I always did for my loadout is I always bring two sets of lockpicks. 2 sets of lockpicks and remove trap tools. Reason being is when you restock, if you already have just one lockpick and one remove trap tool in your bag when you go to restock and resupply, it won't give you a new one. And if you don't check it every single time, like I don't, then what'll end up happening is this one will get down to like 20 uses. You'll go to a dungeon and you'll run out of lockpicks, and then you'll have to leave prematurely. Or you could just carry 2 like I do, and you're good. Because when one goes out, you'll have that backup, and then when you restock or resupply again, you'll always give you 2. Another thing you want to make sure you bring, I always bring at least 10 smoke bombs and about 20 rope into each dungeon. That just keeps me safe, I think, and you'll see I also have a hotkey set up through Razor. All you gotta do for hotkeys, you can literally just type in smoke bomb. There's smoke bomb right there. Boom. Smoke bomb hotkey. You don't have to do some weird stuff now. It's just right there. Boom. Super simple. They made that. That is one of the quality of life changes that they definitely made in Razor. Let me see here. If there's anything else that I'm missing. Don't really think. That's about it. So now we'll go to a dungeon, and we're gonna go to Inferno. I think that's the respawn dungeon. So hopefully there's some chests down there to pick. The biggest thing about lockpicking, in my opinion, is just being aware of your surroundings and knowing how to do mob control. If you'll notice right there, instead of hiding on a lot of chests, I won't hide. I'll just cast Invis. That makes me a little bit quicker. I don't have to wait for a cooldown to move again. I don't have to do any of that. I just cast an Invis on myself, and then I keep moving. If you notice that that script that I ran, the open chest or T-map by Jay Soames, it automatically looted the gold for me, and now I'm moving again. Knowing where you can move throughout a dungeon always helps. Knowing and learning the dungeons always is really helpful for quick movement. Another thing you have to make sure that you do, this is something that I learned the hard way. If you are going to cast Invis on yourself and you have aggroed a mob, make sure you have War and Peace on toggle. Don't have it to where you could just... I like to leave it on toggle. As you can see, I'm spamming it. It's toggling. That way, it'll drop aggro once you hide on that mob. Because if it gets close to you, you're going to automatically punch it. And it's going to break your invis. And then you're going to either A, have to do some wild use chase away from it, or you're going to smoke bomb or do something else. Right? With mobs like the Bulvar, I like to wait for it to kind of dash away. That chest was already picked anyways, but I usually let the Bulvars dash, and then I make my entry to the chest. That way I'm not standing on the chest and I don't take that damage. As you can see, some of these chests are picked. That is the one consequence of doing this live and not on the test. But this does give you an accurate sense of what it looks like to do lockpicking. As you notice there, I use the rope telly to kind of avoid some of those mobs. And that's how I move throughout the dungeons, really. I just I kind of split mobs using the rope teleport. So they don't really aggro onto me. And that's going to be really important over here on like the top part of Inferno. I don't know. Down in the comments, let me know if you want me to do like a quick tutorial on each of the different dungeons. I don't mind doing that. Another trick, if I can get it off right there. As long as a mob's not aggroed onto you, you can get away with just a quick teleport across and then right into a hide. That's a trick that I like to use a lot. Just knowing that if this mob were to actually aggro to me, then I would have to actually smoke bomb or run and cast an invis. But oh, look at all right, random spell hue deed live on the video. We're gonna eat this live. We're gonna eat that live. Great. It gave me cunning. Spell hue deed for cunning. Thank you, Inferno. Anyways, back to it. It's fun. I enjoy lockpicking a lot. It can be somewhat lucrative, but just like anything, a lot of it is RNG, and a lot of it is the time and the effort and the you put into it. Me being at like tier 12 harvest and having multiple links set in there for rare loot. You're not gonna get that at the start. You really got to kind of put some time and effort into it, just as anything else in this game. Unless you're a tamer. At the time of making this video, you could just basically make a tamer and make more gold than this guy. Start. Rope telly through here. The rope didn't work, but whatever. Casting invis on myself and moving up to this chest. Tabbing. I always, if you notice, every single time that I cast invis on myself, it's habit now. I'm always hitting the tab button whenever after casting invis. There's recall scrolls? Oh, shit, I'm gonna grab those recall scrolls. But as you can see, I haven't double procced on anything yet, which is kind of unfortunate. This right here is where the rope telly comes in handy. These Vulcanites, really annoying. Is that a red down there? Let me see it. Let's see. If I think there's a red, I usually will cast a... oh, yes. There is a red down here. Is he just farming? He may be just farming. But we're not going to wait here to find out. We're just going to go pick this chest and then be about our business. If you guys don't know, Stop This Planet is also Stop This Streamer. He's probably streaming right now, if I had to guess. But, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, Dark Aura, you're live. You're dead. You're dead on the video, the YouTube video. We're doing it live. I'm gonna go ahead and make my way out of this dungeon. I think I've given a decent tutorial of how I move about a dungeon. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And if there's anything else that I missed or you want to see, let me know. I think I went over, what scripts I kind of use and, my basic mentality on how to get in and out of a dungeon. And avoiding mobs just like that. It's really just knowing how. Once you learn, different. Look at that. Got away from the reds. Once you learn the dungeons and learn the mob management. Now I won't do that with all of my all the dungeons. Some dungeons, there are spots where I know that I have to stealth around, and I just understand that. But there are some dungeons, like Inferno, that you can kind of bounce around through and avoid mobs based off of the density of the mobs, because there's not as many there. They're spread out pretty well. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching the video. And I hope that this kind of goes over a little bit of the build and the settings that I use to be a lockpicker. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment on the video, and check me out over on Twitch. I will see you all around.